my mom is a teacher and she's retiring soon. She's been doing that for almost 30 years now. And that entire time she held on to these VHS tapes that were like different TV shows and movies. And I'm just absolutely blown away at how hard nostalgia has hit me today. Just not only seeing this, but when she told me recently that she had that, I did everything that I could to find a VHS. I just been wanting to find one in general recently because of stuff like this. And so I found a DVD VCR combo and put one of the tapes in, and I'm glad to say that it works. I am ecstatic about having some of this shit again, and I'm looking at physical media completely differently now in this time of not knowing what's going on with streaming services or the frustration. Like let's like talk about, let me just talk about like my personal experience with streaming more recently than not. What frustrates the hell out of me are are just a few things in particular, which are how the endless amount of options, if you like, for example, let's just say you had an endless budget and you paid for all the streaming services, right? You have all these countless options that, there are times where I'm trying to watch a movie with someone and we end up spending an hour, basically what would be the length of a movie. We spend an hour and a half sometimes just looking for something to watch. Because when you can watch anything and everything, what are you in the mood for suddenly? And like, what do you get very picky about that shit. So there's that whole thing where, there's just like option paralysis or whatever what a lot of people say. The other thing is that, I get so pissed off that like I'm like waiting to watch something, or say like, okay, life gets busy and I just don't have time to watch that movie or that TV show that I've been meaning to watch. I'll be like thinking to myself for a couple of weeks, okay, yeah, no, it's on HBO Max or it's on Netflix or something, and I'll just go and watch it, and I go, and then it's fucking gone. Like, I'm so frustrated with not knowing what's on what or what's going to be on what, especially with all of these, recent, like negotiations, obviously, that have been happening, and all sorts of things that are supposedly in the works with Netflix and Warner Brothers, and that's wild. That's wild as far as is it just going to be all like one streaming service that we're paying out the ass to have ad free, at least, because now we're used to having everything ad free if you want to pay for that. And it's just frustrating how much of that is out of our control. However, if I actually physically have something and it's mine, and I have the, whatever player and TV that I need, to what the DVD player or a Blu-ray player, or whatever the hell, if I have the ability to watch it and I own it, then I can watch it no matter what. And I don't question, like, can I watch it? That's the most insane thing about all that, and how much it's changed. It used to be so easy, obviously, with logins and people not being able to share logins as easily as they can. It's like, if you do suddenly, like, someone's, it says, oh, we'll send a code. Oh, I don't have this person's email. I don't have my dad's or my mom's email. Just like I don't have access to that, like, right away or whatever, to call them and ask them to send it to me. But sometimes it's like 2 a.m. and I'm not going to like bother them after midnight or whatever when they're asleep and shit. So it's so hard to justify it being worth paying for that shit. And it's hard to justify like how, I was paying for HBO Max and Hulu, and I got rid of both, but then recently resubscribed to HBO Max because that's the one that just has a lot of shit that I want to be able to have access to. If I were to pay for one, HBO Max is the only one I would, or maybe Prime, or actually no, Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus is probably the other one I would want to pay for. But anyway, not to get off topic, I when I stopped paying for them, I realized, oh God, I don't. Like there was nothing to take away from it. It's like, unless you're actively paying for it, it's not always, it's only a present momentary thing. That's what's hard, the craziest thing about it, and what's very frustrating. And I'll be honest, there's certain things that are just not a good vibe. Like, I personally don't really like watching Seinfeld in 4K on Netflix. I put this in my DVD player, and it had the notes about nothing, which was like in yellow text at the bottom, all these little fun facts and behind the scenes stories and all like a lot of details I didn't know about the show. And I was like, Jesus Christ, you don't have access to that at all through streaming, or at least I'm not aware of it. But I'm a diehard fan, and I'll be honest, playing this on the DVD player on my CRT is just a completely different. It hits so differently. I've been watching Seinfeld for years, and I have like digital copies of it as well. It's how I used to just watch it whenever I wanted, but I got frustrated with how old my hard drive was and how old my computer was to try to watch all those digital copies of it, that I was just like, fuck this shit. Like, I just, kind of stored it away and use it very rarely nowadays. But what I mean is, like, this was so easy to just throw it in, and of course, like, there are things with, like, okay, with DVDs, I have to, like, get up every couple of episodes to, like, change the DVD, the disc itself. That's really not a big deal. That, like, to be honest, adds to the presence of you actively wanting to watch it instead of just, like, mindlessly throwing stuff on in the background and taking it for granted, or at least just not, like, you're not actively paying attention to it or whatever. And there's you can still do that with this if you're okay with, like, just watching the same episodes on repeat or whatever, never changing the discs. That's where TV shows and movies are different, Movies were probably what most people would just fall asleep to when they were, if they wanted to fall asleep to something on VHS or the DVDs or whatever, because there was like enough time on that. Anyway, I'm looking at all this stuff. I'm looking at all this stuff so differently now, and it's just so cool. Like, it's so cool looking at the box, looking at the pictures on that. Like, I remember really, like, obsessing over the movie poster and all of this stuff whenever I was in Blockbuster as a kid. I literally want to get this and then, like, buy there's a scented candle called, video rental. It's like literally called video rental scent or store scent or whatever. Because I can't legally put like Blockbuster or whatever the hell, I guess. But it's really cool. I'm like suddenly just like loving the attention to the detail of all of this stuff, and looking at the media itself completely differently. Like, I feel differently owning, I mean, this is a tape, that's one thing, but owning the DVDs or of something where it's like, DVDs, like, as long as you have something to play the disc on, they last forever practically. Even these VHSs are still working. They can be broken easily. This one's broken, actually, and I don't know what to do with it. I don't know should I get rid of it? Like, I'm not gonna throw this in my VCR. Are you kidding me? Not worth it. But this movie is a piece of shit. Like, I didn't like this movie as a kid. I remember watching this and being like, damn, Eddie Murphy's usually funny, or usually his movies are. I was really into like the Nutty Professor 1 and 2, and I remember my mom really loved his stand up when we watched like Delirious and Raw when I was like, I don't know, 12 or 13, and that was like some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in my life. He was one of my favorites growing up. But this movie sucks. But what I'm saying is I feel like mixed feelings about, like, I don't want to just like throw it away either. I don't know what to do with it. It's I don't know, maybe I'll make a video of me like breaking it or something. I don't even want to do that. That's the thing, is I don't want to, like, I can't. I don't have it in me to do that. But what do I do with it? That's the other thing with physical media, is once it breaks, what do I just hold on to this movie that's not even good, that I wouldn't even ever watch in the first place, even if it was working, but it doesn't work. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do with it. I'll figure it out. What I think is so interesting about all of this is that I just have a completely different appreciation for the thing itself, the movie or the show or whatever it is. Let's like take It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, for example. Like, I want the DVDs just so I know that I always have access to those episodes that have been pulled and are not even available to stream because of can't, everyone being concerned for their careers about getting canceled and just all that shit. People, so yeah, there are certain shows where it's like I have to like have that on like some sort of copy of that episode, or I have to like, have physical media of it if I want to make sure that I can always watch it, So the limitations of streaming and the inconvenience of the inconvenient convenience is what I've been realizing is it's really like we are literally jumping through hoops nowadays and spending up the ass for supposed convenience. It doesn't feel very convenient to me though, to be honest. Having to like always like, do the security shit too. If they want you like verify all sorts of things, it's like, you're always trying to, the security on it has just gotten, because it just is way different now. And it's so much more controlled. They're really doing everything they can to make sure that they can control, whatever money is coming, whatever income they are making. So I don't know. It's just an example of why a lot of things kind of suck nowadays, and why a lot of people are just like kind of either don't appreciate things or don't really like it's shit like that is just why people don't have the same appreciation for things that they used to. A lot of these, I don't know, I might not even, like, we might put them in a box somewhere, some of these, and just like not even, because some of these movies, I don't know if I would ever, has anybody seen this movie? What the fuck is this shit? Domestic Disturbance with John Travolta and Vince Vaughn. I remember seeing this tape too when I was a kid, but I don't think I ever watched it. Maybe I did. It looks okay. I don't know. But that I will obviously save because it's a VHS tape, and that's just like, you don't just toss those out anymore, obviously. But what I mean is I plan on just collecting like all of my favorite movies and shows, and that sounds like, I don't know, that just sounds like something that one of my favorite hobbies is to watch movies and TV, and I really wish I did watch TV and movies more. I feel overwhelmed with how many things I want to do and how many things that I feel like I should do, and then like work and all sorts of other things that I'm taking time out of your day. So it's just, tomorrow I have a day off, so maybe I'll actually watch some stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to take a moment to express my appreciation for physical media all of a sudden, and just I've always felt this way with gaming, but because of what streaming has been, I was always like, oh yeah, well, movies and TV shows, like I haven't had a physical, like an actual movie in the longest time. Like I don't know, I don't remember the last time I had like whatever copies of movies I liked on Blu-ray, or I feel like I've let people borrow some stuff too, and maybe I didn't see it, or then maybe they didn't return it. I don't know. There's all sorts of things that I don't even remember. Sometimes you just, this totally sounds like first world problems or whatever. Like, oh yeah, I had too much stuff. I had to make room for my other stuff. It's not even that. It's just things change so rapidly from the 2000s to the 2010s from a technological standpoint that, I remember, like, I kind of miss using my iPod, but at the same time, it's like the limited space. You really got to be picky with what you're throwing on there all of a sudden, which is kind of a good thing, because then all of a sudden you're only going to throw your favorite artists on there, things you actually want to listen to, and you're not going to just have access to anything and everything that you don't really, you don't even really appreciate. They don't even pay attention to it. I feel like being able to stream everything, from an unlimited standpoint, or with, just being able to pay for ad-free endless libraries of stuff. I don't know if anybody like really will appreciate what they're watching as much, or I don't know, even like digest. Like, do you even have a moment to digest what you're watching if you're just constantly watching things? I'm sure some things stand out amongst others. I'm just fascinated by like the comparison of these things nowadays more than ever, because now I saw a little news clip pop up on YouTube recently saying that Americans are returning to physical media, and apparently like vinyls, not only vinyl stores, maybe stores that sell CDs or movies or whatever the hell, physical things are probably going to start doing well again, because I'm definitely going to be interested in going thrifting more, or maybe like trying to find some of this shit on a shelf in a random Goodwill somewhere. But now I'm starting to think, what the fuck do I do with the lack of, suddenly, like, you have to think of like space and shit. Physical media does take up space. It's the only main drawback of it for me, but I'm going to figure it out because I like it enough that I want to like make space for it, is what I've realized. So, and again, only for a select couple of movies that I really love. There are two copies of this movie. At least it's like the actual Broadway production of it or whatever, instead of the more recent one. There's certain things that you can't find. I wanted to find Tim and Eric Awesome Show on DVD earlier, and I can't find it anywhere. Like, not the entire complete set of it, at least. I don't want to buy seasons 1, 2, and 5, and it's not 3 and 4 are not available or whatever, for example, like, so there's certain things they're impossible to find. I wanted to see if I could find Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo on DVD recently, and I have to see, I have to get them on Blu-ray at some point, because they don't, like, I just couldn't find DVD copy of them anywhere. I doubt I could ever find a VHS copy. That's too, oh my God, I would do anything to have a VHS copy of Cowboy Bebop and Samurai Champloo was too much later, so it doesn't even exist on VCR, but I'm positive that Bebop had to exist on VHS, at some point. Anyway, so I should wrap this up. Physical media is pretty sick. I don't know what to do with this, and I suddenly have like a new thing that I feel excited about. And yeah, that's it. Physical media is the shit.